What's up, y'all? Farmer Q. Today we're gonna go into a special video. It's special for a particular reason, not for the reason that, most times it's special, but it's special because the lack of something. Recently I harvested or attempted to harvest my purple Okinawan sweet potatoes, and it was the first time that I harvested my sweet potatoes and got not a single sweet potato. So this was a pretty devastating experience for me. You really just have moments where you're like, man, where did I go wrong with that? And quite honestly, I think it was the fertilization, but we still have a lot to learn, and this is just a step in the journey. So stick with me while I go through my lack of a sweet potato harvest with y'all on today. What's up, everybody? Farmer Q here, and today we have another one. We're gonna harvest our purple Okinawan sweet potatoes today. Gosh, I had to shoot this off with a little intro here because this is epic. We've been waiting for this moment for so long. I'm talking about like 130 days at this point. We've been waiting this long to get after it, so let's wait no longer. Let's get it. So, as you can see here, we got our work cut out for us, so let's get started. Ooh, this is crazy. You know what we'll do? We'll go ahead and get our shears and we'll cut a lot of this back because this is ridiculous. We need some room to work with. So we're just getting the process all kicked off. We started the process off with so much excitement, and right now we're just getting some cuttings done to secure rooting for any potential growth that we want to do in the future and everything like that. But, we just want to do our due diligence. And right here, what I'm targeting is the cuttings that are going to be the strongest. I'm trying to make sure that I get cuttings that have the thickest stems, have the best rooting capabilities, and all that good stuff. And I'm going to give you a nice close-up once I get the last cutting done and get it into the jar. But I just really wanted to emphasize how important it was to cut a lot of the leaves off, really just leave the top tip leaves and everything, and just show you the cuttings in their form. So now we get to the point where we just are trying to figure out exactly how we're going to rid ourselves of the vines. Not even get rid of them, because we're going to reuse them, but we were just perplexed for a moment because we were overwhelmed with the sheer amount of vinage that we saw in the area. I will say that throughout this process, it made me really appreciate the fact that, the plant really had super vigorous growth in the leafy capabilities of the plant and everything like that. So that is amazing. But you can see the pepper off to the side there. The pepper plant off to the side there is the Sugar Rush cream pepper, and she is beautiful. She's a little dry right now. Was really just letting some of those peppers get some of the heat built up as we went forward with the process. But as she dries up, we're going to harvest her as well and harvest those peppers off and get her back wet up. But back to the main topic of conversation, which is our purple Okinawan sweet potatoes that we just got completely cut from the stem. We're doing all our gathering and everything like that, and you get to see me just pretty much Hercules carry this big old pile of leaves right here, because that's pretty much what I got to do. And yes, right then and there, I'm sitting here thinking about, I wonder how many bugs are inside this big old pile and everything like that. But, I couldn't really worry too much about that because, it really got to the point where I was just like, I have to get this done. And right then and there, I noticed that the tension from the fence was actually becoming more of an issue than what we really wanted it to be. But it turned out okay. We got the bulk of the vines out of there so that we can continue on with the harvest. And that is what we're doing. We're continuing on. And I really want to point out how much fun I really did have, even though it didn't quite turn out exactly like we wanted it to turn out, but it uh it's always exciting going in there and really wondering what you're gonna find under the soil and everything, you know. And this is just me coming to the summation that, I'm not gonna get no sweet potatoes this year. It was pretty saddening in the moment. Now that I look back at that moment, it's just another moment in time. Of course, I would love to have had a beautiful, epic, excellent sweet potato harvest, but in all actuality, what I'm actually going to end up doing is buying more sweet potatoes from the store. As much as I would not like to, I'm going to end up having to do that because of the lack of harvest that I ended up with. You can see the spindly vines, or not the vines, but the spindly roots that we have. The roots grew very strong, they grew very deep, but I, for some reason, just could not produce, could not procure the epic, excellent, wonderful purple Okinawan sweet potatoes that I had so much success producing the first year that I actually grew them. This year was dramatically different, and last year wasn't so different from this year. Last year I also got a lot of leafy growth, but the only difference was last year I actually had a few small sweet potatoes in the mix. This makes me really want to point the finger at fertilization, but there also was a severe drought this year, and this was the only area that I didn't have irrigation in the start. I was hand watering this area a large bulk of the time, so I very well could have not been watering adequately. But look at that big boy right there. You see, I'm not too sad to show off some bugs. But it definitely was a juicy little caterpillar. But we're just picking through it and everything, and pretty much living with the bummed outness that I had to deal with. Sorry for the booty in the face right there, but it's just a camera angle, but no pun intended. We're just finishing up our process, and we're gonna take it on home with our disappointed self on that day.